In today's episode of the Pathfind Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Lucy Brook, and she's heading over from the team over at Applicaa. And at Applicaa, they're all about supporting their organizations to drive more success with their technology. So essentially, what I really want to talk with Lucy all about today is to figure out how Applicaa in the admissions, marketing, and onboarding sort of sector for schools really helps them to drive results and basically control all things admissions. So Lucy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah. So maybe give us a quick overview. What is Applicaa all about in your own words?
Sure. So basically we're a tech SaaS startup, so software as a service. Everything is cloud-based. And what we do is provide ed tech to schools in the form of a cloud-based CRM. And what that does is it allows schools to attract, onboard, and engage their students. And that covers every age group. So it's from sort of nursery right through to sixth form. At the moment, we work with 1,000 schools, most of which are in the UK.
Gotcha. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, is there a certain size that these schools need to have in order sort of to benefit from Applicaa? Is there, maybe tell us a little bit what makes an ideal candidate of leveraging the platform?
Yeah, so I think all of our customers are schools, as I mentioned, and our team sort of genuinely have a passion for helping schools to be successful and in helping them to maximize their student numbers. So we do have a range of smaller schools that use our software right through to some of the UK's biggest multi-academy trusts. So some of them might have, like, say, 30 or 40 schools within the trust. So the size of the school is sort of less important. It's more about meeting the school's pain points and delivering solutions to those pain points.
Very good. Cool. That makes a whole lot of sense. So now, who within the school would actually bring in the technology? Because I mean, the school can be, quite big and staff. Many people have different, want to improve different things. So the program, there's obviously very often an admissions sort of like committee or admissions team. Who brings in the technology typically?
So yeah, that's a really good question. So it varies a little bit by school, but I'd say typically heads of sixth form would look at it for the sixth form arena, and then operations directors, finance directors, and school business managers. So quite often they're sitting, right within the SLT team of the school, and obviously heads of school are also looking at these types of solutions.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a whole a lot of sense. Now, how do they learn about Applicaa? Like, what would be the journey that they go through in order to get in touch, and what are the channels that they're working through essentially?
Yeah, so we have, what we've set up is sort of two main strategies for marketing, which generate the inbound leads. So one of those is that on our website, we have a demo on demand that we call it. So the schools can basically go on and see a product demo video. And after they've watched, say, a minute or so of that, they have to put in their email address, which we capture. And then we can obviously do follow-up calls with the schools that way. And the second method that we use is through regular webinars. So at the moment we're doing 5 webinars a week, and they're targeted to specific audiences. So we do one for primary schools, one for sixth forms, and one for independent schools, for example. And again, people sign up to the webinars, and then we always send them a recording, and then jump on a call, give them a follow-up. And yeah, we have a team of outbound SDRs, and we also have a team of regional managers who have those more in-depth conversations with the schools after the initial touch point. So yeah, it's a sort of multi-pronged, I'd say. The other thing is we also partner with a lot of industry leaders, specifically those that deliver the MISs in schools. So that's the management information systems. So we partner with SIMS. We also work with ISAMS, Arbor, Bromcom, and Cloud School. And we have like two-way data integration with each of them. So that helps us to work seamlessly with the market leading school MISs.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes a whole a lot of sense. Now, how do you think about the website? Like, what role does the website play in their journey? You as a marketer, how do you know what role does it play for you for their journey, you think?
Yeah, it's actually really important. So we've actually just redone our website recently, and it's really, really key in capturing those leads for us, but also for the schools. It has to talk about the pain points that they're experiencing, and it needs to show how our solutions are going to help them with those pain points. So I think it's a two-way, like it's the first thing that people see about Applicaa, and it's not just about lead generation, although obviously as a marketeer, I'm interested in that, but it's also about, how are we fulfilling a need for those schools and for the staff. And, as we all know, staff in schools are, under a lot of pressure. They're very busy, and what we want to really do is reduce the workload of them for them on the admin side. So I think it's about showcasing all of that across the website as best that we can.
Yeah, so Lucy, maybe then let's switch gears a little bit, right? We talked about the website, we talked about the organization, we talked about what you guys are doing. What I'm curious about now is how you keep educating yourself, right? There's a lot that you could learn as a marketer. There's a lot of blogs, articles, podcasts out there. What's your go-to place to do research, basically?
Yeah. Okay. So I totally agree. It's really important to do like lifelong learning. So a couple of years ago, I actually started doing MA in marketing with the CIM, which is the Chartered Institute of Marketing. They obviously do really good courses, and that one was about 2 years. So it involved looking in detail at growth and various other areas that are really key that I'm now using in my role. So I think it's definitely important to do that. And then aside from that, I read quite a lot of leadership books, podcasts. Our CEO loves a YouTube video, so we share a lot of those throughout the company. And I think it's just about looking at, what are the latest trends and keeping abreast, because technology is obviously moving at such a fast pace that, it's keeping abreast of those changes. We also recently sent a team out to SaaStr in the US, which is the SaaS conference. So I was lucky to go on that trip, and that was very interesting, speaking with people in the SaaS sector about what they're doing in their companies. So that really helped us learn a lot as well.
Very cool. That sounds good. So basically, I would have some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those? They're a little bit of a surprise for our guests, but they're harmless. So I hope that's okay. What is the last book that you read? It does not need to be on marketing, can be on anything.
Well, I am actually reading The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, which I have read in the past, and then I decided to revisit it. So I'm rereading that at the moment. It's very interesting.
Very cool. What's the one single thing that your organization is focused on the most at the moment?
Growth.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, right? You have a magic wand. What's the one thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer today?
Data, definitely. Like, I obviously know data is ever perfect, but I think marketers always want, the perfect CRM with perfect data, with no gaps, no errors, which is sort of like the holy grail. So I guess if I had a magic wand, I'd fix that.
Very cool. The last question would be, if today would be your very first day working at Applicaa, what's the one advice that you would give yourself for that journey?
I think just getting stuck in. Like, marketers have to be able to cross over lots of different roles, lots of different jobs within it. So I think it's about being adaptable, being able to jump into different teams. Like, I was helping out doing sales calls a couple of months ago. It's basically about seeing where there's a need and being able to be flexible enough to say, okay, this team needs help this month, another month you might be doing something else. And it doesn't necessarily, in a small company, all relate to marketing. So it's about flexibility and adaptability. And I think just being willing to get stuck in to where resource and help is needed.
Gotcha. Very cool. I would say, you gave us a great insight into the world of Applicaa. The last question that I really would like to pose to you is maybe just to wrap it up for people, right? If people would forget it, anything that we did or all that we discussed about Applicaa, what's the one single thing that they should remember about the company?
Well, the key thing is that I'd say 60% of our team used to work in schools. So I mentioned about pain points earlier. I think having done those roles in schools really does genuinely mean that our staff understand what the schools are going through. Yeah, so I think it's all about the students at the end of the day. So if we can support the staff, that ultimately supports the students.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Lucy, thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathwing Presents.
Thank you very much.